So there's this film, right? And it's holographic film. And it has a bunch of little tiny, basically metallic particles in it floating in whatever the substrate is. I work with a few different chemistries, whether it's my handmade film or whether it's the photopolymer stuff that I purchase and utilize, which is peely stuff. Um, it still has that kind of properties. And what happens is when you expose it to laser light, um, those particles kind of align and harden the substrate or the film. Uh, and the hardening part only happens at very specific locations where the wavefront collides. It's called a wave interference pattern. It's what we're recording into the film. So if you think about throwing two rocks into a pond and you see the waves and they hit each other, those points in which the waves cross, all those points are the interference points. So effectively, you're taking your image or your photograph or your holograph. You're taking a capture of it, but not just the effectively the intensity and color or slash contrast of the image like a photograph would, but you're also capturing what's called phase, which is kind of the distance that the light travels before it meets the medium. So in doing that, you effectively create a mold. If you think about making plastic toys, you make your silicone mold and you pour resin in it and you get pulls out of it. Same thing, same idea, except you have this open mold, which is effectively a flat piece of glass, and in order to get your pull out of it, you have to introduce light back into it. So you're filling the mold with light, and then it is reconstructing the interference pattern that was recorded, which is kind of like like I said, every square kind of millimeter of holographic film is taking in information from the entire scene. So you might have a big scene like this, but this tiny little piece of film is also getting light from the corners and pretty much any view that it can see, and it's recording that information. I think that helps. If it doesn't, I think I've explained this a few times. Do it about every week. So, if this doesn't click, come on by next week. We'll do it again.